Hello guys, NautoAis here, and this will be a follow-up on my video on what to do with the Switch 2 situation, how do you vote with your wallet, how do you voice your concern, etc, 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 because some of the topics they talk about that the price could have something to do with the tariff, again not touching that, what do they price the games with XYZ, whatever the reason behind it. Well, credit to a lot of people in social media from Nintendo editors such as Go Nintendo, IGN, GameSpot, Nintendo Deal, Nintendo News, Nintendo Live, you name it. Because credit to Polygon and The Verge, so credit where credit is due. They had a lot of interviews from Bill Trenton, Nate Dilford, and the president of America of Nintendo, Doug Bowser, explaining a lot of the X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to give my thoughts about a lot of this topic that they mentioned and my thoughts about it. Of course, the first thing is the elephant in the room. So in the past, you saw my segment, Nintendo Achievement Win, sort of a propaganda. I'm hoping that Nintendo will finally embrace a system-wide achievement with the Nintendo Switch 2. I was hoping, I'm trying to be optimistic, because I'm seeing maybe Furukawa has a different mentality than Iwata, that if you want more people to buy third-party game on Nintendo Switch, especially on the Switch 2, you might consider doing system-wide achievement. But, well, unfortunately, and I had a feeling with the Zelda Note and an in-game achievement, and apparently also Mario Kart World will also have in-game achievement, and that is that Nintendo Switch 2 will not have a system-wide achievement. From Polygon, they asked Bill Trenton, hey, will there be a system-based achievement? And he just said in one word, nope. So for now, it is unfortunate. It is bullshit that really Nintendo, you're not doing a system-wide achievement. And once again, I keep saying this on social media. If you don't put it in the Switch 2 in 2025, which is an industry standard, it really just tells me that Nintendo still sticking to the philosophy to some extent. But the real behind story probably is they really just don't know, and the knowledge and the experience on doing a system-based achievement, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it. Yes, like Kit basically said, he suggested doing a Microsoft-type architect, and they said no because their philosophy is to do a Nintendo version. They don't want to copy anyone, so they rather just not do it. So again, it kind of showed me that, yes, they really don't know. They have no experience or knowledge how to do it, and it's really unfortunate. And I've been saying that to Nintendo. A lot of people did say, put that system-wide achievement. People might buy third-party games on the Switch. And again, some people only double dip because of the portability, but to what extent? Just saying there. So it is unfortunate. Like I said, whether they do it or not, it is what it is. And like I said, they're just a bunch of idiots right now for not doing it. Again, it just shows there that Nintendo's just being grandpas. People in the higher seat are still grandpas, and unfortunate too. So also sort of related to this is the eShop for the Switch 2. And someone basically asked about, will there be music? And according to Koichi Kawamoto, no, there will be no song or background music on the eShop. The last time they did that was the Wii U and 3DS, and they said was the reason why they didn't do it because it might get in the way of the video when you plug it in. Again, reading the word between the words kind of tells me the people behind the Switch 2 are not experienced, that they can't do the thing that people wanted. They don't have the knowledge or the experience. It goes back to, yes, they can give any excuse, reason, whatever, but the bottom line is, what people are reading between the line is, they just don't have no knowledge. They got no knowledge. Yeah, it's great that they improved the eShop for the Switch 2, but in hindsight, they have no knowledge. It is unfortunate there. So, bum me out. But again, no achievements, no music in the eShop. For that one, it's not really a deal breaker for me, but a lot of people did like that, to enjoy listening to music while shopping the eShop. They're not going to do it. Again, whatever excuse they give, the bottom line is it's just going to show that, we have no knowledge how to do it. Then it comes to the price of the games and the system itself. So people believe, some of them, that tariff might have played for the Nintendo Switch 2 $450 price. Doug Bowser, the president of Nintendo of America, basically said, no, it wasn't a factor. That the reason the $450 really is that they're trying to justify the cost of the system. Kind of makes sense. I don't agree with it. Again, like I said about the Wii U, Iwata did admit The price wasn't right to what the Wii U's initial release, but they did say the reason is because of the feature they offered and basically the component they use. And he kept mentioning moving parts was the key thing that the price was very expensive. The Switch 2, to some extent, the dock has moving parts. The Switch itself, probably not so much. But again, when you have moving parts on a system, that costs money. So, yes, Doug Bowser basically confirmed that, yeah, it's not really the tariff that's the console $450. However, he did say that don't be surprised if something changed, something new is going to happen because of the tariff situation. So, the initial price has nothing to do with the tariff. They already confirmed that. Believe him or not, that's up to you. But because of what happened, because if you didn't know, the whole pre-order in the US, chances are, yeah, the price might go up and down. And one of my suggestions I posted on Kit's social media on Twitter, X, is that I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo would do a SKU that only comes with the adapter and the Switch itself. No dock, no Joy-Con grip, just the controller, the Switch itself, and the plug to make it $400. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to do that SKU in the long run. We'll just have to wait and see. And of course, talking about price is the game themselves. Yes, to no surprise, Nintendo wants the rule of the cost of the game is in a case-by-case basis. Again, I did talk about it in a previous video that what Sony kind of did, because again, maybe the CD medium, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever, that all games should be $50 at max MSRP. If you put more in that game, that's on you. Less, again, it is what it is. And Yu Suzuki on the Dreamcast with Shimune, he admitted that even so the game sold a lot of people bought the game because the game is good, you can see. On the main channel, I played Shimune HD. It is a good game, I can see why. He admitted that on the Dreamcast, even so it sold a lot, they weren't getting anything back because of the development cost was just so high. They weren't getting the justified return. They were getting, I think, $1 or $2 per sale. So that's the reason why for Nintendo, they said, well, it has to be a case-by-case basis. Sony kind of changed that rule. And for a while, they had to follow the rule because people like it. And now Nintendo basically saying, well, we're not using CD medium. We're doing game cards. So it's a different story. They probably get away with that again. They probably just stuck with that price for a while with the Switch because they're just seeing the market, how it goes. But now they're saying, hey, look, we're not using CD, Blu-ray medium. We're using game card, and that's different. So we can do our own rule, and there you go. Bullshit it may be. As expected, Nintendo want to go back to the rule of case-by-case basis rather than all games should be a certain price. Yes, they did raise the price because developers were concerned that they're not making their money back. So Microsoft, during the HD era, they raised the price to $60. And then with the PS5 Series XS, Sony were the one that raised the price to $70 because, again, the talk that they keep hearing is, oh, development costs so high, we're not making back, we're not getting any returns, to a point of if you follow 2024 and 2025, there have been a lot of layoffs lately. I mean, granted, there are a lot of factors, but to some extent is they're not getting the justified return for a lot of this game to a point that they had to cut back and let people go. Different story, but it is what it is. Again, it is unfortunate, but I think Nintendo want to go back to the case-by-case basis rule. Kind of bullshit. And like I said, just vote with your wallet. Be patient. If you have stuff that you can get it on sale or whatever, discount, use an advantage such as Best Buy certificate, codes for QVC, GameStop, whatever. Follow Wario64 and Cheap Ass Gamer, and you should be good to go. You can buy those games at a lower price, just saying. Another tidbit that's going to be unfortunate is Joy-Con's they're not Hall effect what people wanted. It is just a regular Joy-Con joystick. So chances are, don't be surprised if there's going to be Joy-Con drift. It is what it is. I mean, probably too expensive. That's what it is there. And then, another confirmed, the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour is $10, and it's only going to be digital, so no surprise from Nintendo. Again, greedy, yes, But to some extent, this has been a Nintendo philosophy in the past since the NES, they believe it or not, that in Japan, when a console's released, they never pack in the game. And to some extent, even in the US, if I remember the first NES in 1985 was released, they didn't have a game. By the time I got an NES, I bought the action set, so it had Mario and Duck Hunt. When my parent bought me the Super Nintendo, it was $150. It came with Super Mario World. Again, that was a year later. Same goes with N64. Didn't have any pack-in game. Same goes with the GameCube. The only anomaly was the Wii with Wii Sports. Reggie pushed that. They said, okay, let's see what happened. But apparently Miyamoto was not happy for giving it for free. And I'll explain that later. And of course, with the Wii U, had no game. Premium had Nintendo Land. Switch, again, didn't have any game. But the sort of trade-off is that they do have some sort of demo or free-to-play game that you can get. So there you go. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if Switch 2 Welcome Tour might have a starter version. Maybe not. And again, like I said, Fortnite is going to be free-to-play on the Switch 2. Just saying, there's your packing game to some extent if you want to say that. Maybe demo games or whatever. And that's why for me personally, I don't want to buy a console at launch because the later SKU might have a packing game. 3DS, months later, came in with Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 64. There you go. So the question is, why is Nintendo doing this? Why they hate packing game? And why a lot of this game, even if it's like a tech demo, they're making you pay for it? Well, credit to someone on social media, and Reggie can explain it in his book about the Wii Sport. When Wii Sports was free in the West. Okay, mind you, only in the West, in Japan, when the Wii was released, there was no packing game. And Miyamoto, like I said, was not happy because the reason behind it was the belief is that developers should get something back when they develop something. They don't want, I'll develop something and then here's for free as a good gesture. Asobi did it with Astro Playroom. That's why people respect them. Heck, even the PS4 had a packing game. Granted, you need a camera, but again, there's still a packing game that comes with trophies. Stupid Bill Trenton, you're an idiot. Anyway, moving on. They don't want to give things for free because they felt like, hey, they work so hard. They should get something back from it. Again, it might be greed. Why not show some good gesture to your loyal fans to some extent? It's something that it doesn't sit well with Nintendo of Japan. Again, bunch of grandpa, you call it, whatever. So it is unfortunate that Switch 2 Welcome Tour will be $10. I mean, it's bullshit. Again, just vote with your wallet. Will it be a sale in some point? I don't know. Again, do you really want this game? Unless you're hardcore, maybe. Again, maybe I'll buy it if it has a system-wide achievement, Bill Trenton. Bullshit! There you go. It is unfortunate. So another one, they confirmed about the price for the Switch 2 edition. No surprise really that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom will be $10 more. And they do add some new doodad. Of course, you have to use the phone to use the Zelda Note. Again, I'm not really mad about that because, first of all, like I mentioned before, they kind of did this with the Wii U Virtual Console that if you want to play it on the Wii U, whatever you bought from the Wii, you can pay like $1 to $2 because it has some additional feature like Miiverse and stuff. Or if you have the Wii, just play it on the Wii via Wii mode. I know it's stupid, but again, better than nothing. There you go. So no surprise that it's $10 because again, Sony kind of did it with their first party game. And I think certain third party games also have that. But again, why? According to Jim Ryan with PlayStation 5, it's just that they didn't want to have the same value from the PS4 to a PS5 game. Again, they felt like, hey, look, people work hard on it. They should at least get some incentive. Their $10 upgrade bullshit. It is what it is. And of course, with the other game that has more content, such as Mario Party Jamboree and Kirby Forgotten World, it'd be $20. Kind of just makes it to some extent. I mean, it's better than double dipping in the game. I mean, remember, the Wii U to the Switch, people have to double dip. In the Switch version, they added some new stuff. Mario 3D World has Bowser's Fury. Tokyo Mirage FE has some contents. Xenoblade Chronicle X added some new stuff, along with Xenoblade Chronicles. Hyrule Warrior had some minor content in it, and there's other games. At least this time around, you get an option to just pay for the upgrade rather than the whole game. Just saying. Donkey Kong Country Return, Tropical Freeze, the add-in Funky Kong, and what was that game was like $60 at launch? Again, bullshit it may be, but to some extent, they do add some new stuff. Another one, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. They added new stuff in it. The game's kind of ass. I'd rather play Pikmin 4, but beside the point, again, rather than double dipping in the game, you can just, hey, there you go, $10, $20. It is what it is there. And also, they also confirmed that the Switch 2 edition is in the game. So there is no code. There was a rumor before from a representative that said that it's a Switch 1 game with a code. Kind of weird if they do that, but again, it's Nintendo. But no, it was confirmed that Switch 2 edition are in the game. So everything's in the game. In other words, you can't use that game on the Switch 1. Makes sense. Option is there. So there you go to some extent. More tidbit. Unfortunate that what Nintendo's doing right now with the Switch 2, it is kind of bullshit. And even so to a point that Nate Dilford even said, oh, we're trying to aim for the Switch 2 to be future-proof. All I can say about that one is, did you just see the PlayStation 3 when it first launched? They said it was future-proof. Was it future-proof? No, not really. So, just saying there. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the follow-up on interviews from Doug Bowser, Nate Dilford, and Bill Trayton about a lot of this thing. Like I said, the biggest one for me is it's unfortunate that Nintendo will not have a system-wide achievement. However, that could change in the long run if there's a lot of demand for it. And like I said, look at the PlayStation 3 in the long run. There was a trophy. It was a VIA update. It wasn't from the box. It was basically updated later on. And again, maybe the Japs just don't know how to do it, because if you don't know, that achievement invented in America. The PlayStation trophy was invented by people from PlayStation USA, believe it or not. Just saying there. So maybe the Japanese just don't know how to do it because they suck. Lack of knowledge, lack of experience. It is what it is there. So there you go. Thoughts about it. Like I said, you decide. Are you going to buy the Switch 2 or not? Well, it's up to you. With that, I'll see you guys later.